Welcome everybody, my name is François Letarte and this is my channel JDRD30, a channel about tabletop role-playing games. So today we are in 2017. RPG A Day will come eventually, RPG A Day 2017. Yeah, talking about role-playing games every day for the month of August. So today, this will be a very rambly, I will answer RPG A Day 2014 in one video. Trying to be very quick about it. Yeah, I've made 2015, 2016. I haven't made 2014 back then. So yeah, for me it's the occasion to make it now in preparation of what will come of 2017. So let's begin with the first question. First RPG played. It was Advanced Dungeons and Dragons first edition in 1986. It wasn't a very long campaign. I've played 3 games of that, but yeah, it was quite a shock, and I'm still in the hobby still now. Funny fact, back then the French version of that game just came out when I began to play. First RPG game mastered. It was Redbox Tom Moldvay Dungeons and Dragons. In the following weeks that I began to play Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, so it was Tom Moldvay. And third question, first RPG purchased. It was Tom Moldvay. Yeah, that famous Redbox paid with hard-earned money, working at making bread delivery to houses. Fourth, most recent RPG purchase. All for One Regime Diabolique. I've bought that in December. I'm right now in a campaign. We've made some sessions so far of All for One Regime Diabolique playing Musketeers. I'm very happy. It's a great game. Fifth question. Most old school RPG owned. Right now it's Metamorphosis Alpha. I've bought the PDF copy on Drive-Thru RPG directly from Mr. Ward himself. He has something on that. I know that Goodman Games have made a new edition of it. I don't think I will buy this. I'm very happy with what I have so far. I've played a couple of games of that. It's a very particular game, and it's very old. The first RPG, sci-fi RPG ever published. Favorite RPG never get to play. Right from the top of my head, I would say Paranoia. I always looked at this game with high regards, never had the chance to play it. So I'm looking forward maybe to try it someday. Paranoia. Most intellectual RPG owned. That is a tough question. Well, the answer I've made in French, I will just take the same. I own some Star Trek RPGs. Not very intellectual, but the tone of Star Trek is the mix of intellectual stuff mixed with lots of action. So yeah, and I love Star Trek, so why not talk about it right now. Favorite character. I love most of my characters I have played. I try to make the most out of them. I must say that right now Alphonse Ruolt, Briscoeur, has a very special place in my heart. When I play him, I have the impression that I have wings on my back. It's easy to play, easy to fit in that 17th century setting. I'm very pleased with that. So, Alphonse Ruolt, Briscoeur. Favorite die or dice set? Many people would think that the T30 might be my favorite. Well, it might. Okay, it's the logo of my channel. I always like the oddness of this useless die. I have a collection of that, by the way. Many colors, many shapes, many drawings in them. I'm still searching to get more, even though I don't really play with them. Otherwise, my first dice set I've bought with my first Redbox. I'm still very fond of them. They were kind of brownish, kind of smoky color, and I think I have lost some of the set. I don't have the old set anymore, but it was for a long time my favorite set when I was coming to a table. Favorite tie-in novel, game, fiction. Definitively The Young Kingdoms, Michael Moorcock Stormbringer. Yeah, I always have the wish to get into a serious game of that. I did in the past, but it was with D20 Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition, and at some point Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition is not as serious as Stormbringer can be. You know, we have lost at some point when the characters were getting more higher level. We have lost it at some point. So if I have to get back, it will be with a more gritty tone. The basic role-playing version, maybe the Mongoose version, or I have a French version that is a totally other game system, maybe. So that is Michael Moorcock's Elric Cycle. Weirdest RPG owned. Well, it is Metamorphosis Alpha. That is the only one that comes into my head. Maybe if I get through my shelf, I will find something else. But Metamorphosis Alpha is a weird game. You know, it was quite. It was very weird, very different. It's not standard science fiction, though. You could play that, but yeah, it's all the mutations and the weird stuff happening in the ship. So yeah, Metamorphosis Alpha. An old RPG that I still play or read. Personally, I do dig in Star Wars D6 a lot. I don't play that much, but the D6 system comes once in a while. Okay, it has a place around my table. We talk about it once in a while to play it. I may do it in one shots. I don't remember what I said in French, but that's what it's coming right now for this one. Most memorable character death. I had a priestess of agriculture in Advanced Dungeons and Dragons 2nd edition, and she died while trying to protect a friend. A friend was to be touched by some dark beings coming from the sky. And my priestess prayed her God, please help me protect, and put my character in the front of that dark matter, thinking that my God could help me, and it didn't. So my soul was sucked by this, and I died right away. It was memorable because it was kind of a act of fate that failed. Best convention purchase. I haven't bought many stuff in conventions because I haven't got too many conventions in my life. So I only bought once something. It was the kind of a quick start book for Tales of Fate of the Norns, a Viking games. I bought that at Comic Con last year. Yeah, it seems a very interesting game, very unusual mechanic. I don't know if I will try it someday, but I have it in my shelf. May look at it once in a while. So Fate of the Norns, Ragnarok, the quick start book. Favorite convention game? Well, Brigade Con, Metamorphosis Alpha, it's back again. Yeah, the first game I've made with Sébastien Bissonnette, Tim, and there was man, I do remember your face. the guy in the Mom Basement RPG podcast. Man, sorry I don't remember your name. It was awesome. It was very awesome. Otherwise, in the in-person convention, it was me running Hero Kids with kids. Always awesome, that game. And in the convention, it added its effect. You know, seeing a bunch of kids killing monsters in a dungeon, being excited and noisy about it, and the people looking at us with smile, with the smile of good job. They will play role-playing games in the future. Yeah. It added its effect, and I'm very glad I did it. So yeah. Game I wished I owned. I don't remember what I've said in French. Game I wish I owned. Right now, I pretty much have the games, that I'd like to have in my shelf. Well, right now, a friend came to my home with Mutant Chronicles 3rd edition in his hand from Modifius. Yes, I wish I'd have this one. Maybe, yeah, and I haven't said it in French, but there's a French role-playing game, swashbuckling role-playing game called Mordieu by John Grumpf, and I'd like to have that. It seems very interesting. A print copy of Tranchons et Tracons, another French game. Rêve de Dragon, another French game, which is very expensive. But it would be just to put in my shelf. Frankly, I won't play them. I don't have the time. Just to read them for fun. I wish I had, the wooden box that came with the 40th anniversary of Dungeons and Dragons. With the wooden box that came with the metal dice and the first booklets of the first version, white box of Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, I wish I had that. It looked very cool. That's what is coming from the top of my head right now. Funniest game I have played. Frankly, Men in Black always hit the spot. Men in Black is funny. You know why? Because you don't need to be funny for it to be funny. Men in Blacks are serious persons doing serious jobs, but they are always thrown in crazy situations. And man, every time I play, it hurts so much. I'm laughing so much that it hurts. That is a game that you don't need to make good jokes. The good jokes will come by themselves. Okay, it's very easy to run. You take your environment, and you just put some strange things, and your character knows about it, and they have to deal with it if the danger comes, when the humans are in danger. So, Men in Black role-playing game. Okay, there was the official version, D6 version, which I find average, but I think it's easy to take any modern light rules light game and play Men in Black with that, and yeah, you will have a great evening. Favorite game system? Well, if I listen to my heart right now, no, I think it would be a D6 system. Will always be D6 system, even though it's not the one I would use right now for anything. I have other game systems that I'm really enjoying right now. I'm Tranchons et Tracons, a French role-playing game. I wish you had it in English, man, because it's a great game. Advanced Fighting Fantasy, of course, I talk about it a lot on my channel. It's very very fun. I'm very fan of that game. I'm basic role-playing. I'm a big fan of basic role-playing. But, my heart will always go with the D6 system. I know it by heart. You come by my place, you want a game right now. We haven't planned anything. D6 system, and in 15 minutes we have a game ready with character sheets in any settings possible. D6 system works. My favorite published adventure. I ran a lot of modules in my life, especially the one from Star Wars West End Games, and my favorite is one of them. It was Tiein Manhunt, which is the first adventure that was published for Star Wars D6. The first time I've read that adventure, I found it a little silly. I wasn't, very comfortable with it, but I have ran it anyway. It was a good way to get lots of experience points into an adventure that that had a lot in it. But throughout the years, sometimes I had to work on one adventure with one group, and I came back to that adventure a couple of times. I must say that I maybe ran through it 5 or 6 times, and I must say that from the 4th times I have ran it, it's kind of, I knew the adventure and I knew how to link the different elements of it together to make it alive, to make it real. And I must say that I'm really enjoying now to play that adventure. I can make it very alive, very Star Wars-like. So Tiein Manhunt, the first Star Wars D6 adventure, will be my favorite published adventure. What I still play in 20 years time? Well, to tell the truth, right now in my face-to-face group, I'm playing Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition. Okay, that will be the technical truth. It's not my favorite game system, far from it, but at the same time, I'm still there. As a game master, I don't want to know anything about it. I'm not interested in that. As a player, well, I have always been a player in that. So even though in the 90s, when that was the most popular game system around, I was hating it, but I was always in the game of that here and there. So yeah, why should I complain? I had fun with that game system. So that is the truth. Otherwise, well, Star Wars D6 was named. I think it comes back once in a while. I say Star Wars, but you know, other D6 game that I love, Men in Black, I talk about it, and some others. So yeah. Favorite licensed RPG? Well, okay, I come back to it once again. Star Wars RPG. Yeah, I love licensed RPG, by the way. I love to take my ideas from a fiction, a movie, a TV series that I love. I really love to do that. Yeah, when I read those, you know, or novel that I like and all that, you know, I get into it. I wish I was into that story. So role-playing games enables me to do that. I have never been a big world creator. I always take it into something that exists. So I like licensed stuff. But Star Wars, you know, technically is my favorite one. Yeah. Best second-hand RPG purchase. Yes, that one is an easy one. I got the 7C core rulebook for 50 cents. That is quite a deal. Okay, the book is maybe not in the best condition. The pages are falling apart, but they are all there. You know, I could get that game, I could run it, I have it in my hand. 50 cents, guys. That is a deal. Coolest looking RPG product. Once again, I don't remember what I've said in French, so it will be something from the top of my head. Well, Sorcerers of Arturok. Yeah, I think that I told it in French. Well, this is a role-playing game by Orion Games, the same that are publishing Advanced Fighting Fantasy. It's a D6 based system. Why my interest in that game is that it's D6 based, Arabian Night type of troop style play, and you know the look of that game is awesome. All the paintings in the book, and I have a deluxe version, only, you know, white lettered cover with the logo in gold in it. It looks very cool. Yeah, otherwise I always loved the book cover of, well, Star Wars D6 once again, but the first Star Wars D20 game. You know, I remember that people were screaming at murder when they saw the cover because it was a painting from Star Wars Episode 1. But if you open the book and you look at the back cover and the front cover, it all goes at the same. And the back cover was the characters from, you know, the original trilogy. So it's kind of a painting showing that, you know, the saga we love comes from somewhere. And yeah, I like, you know, the artistic view of it. So yeah, I'm not a guy who's looking for a very cool product, but some of them, you know, looks good. My most complicated RPG owned. I must say that Pathfinder is one. I know that many people find it easy, but you know, let's face it, guys, this is a complicated role-playing game. Lots of stuff to take into account, and okay, there's lots of work through that game if you want to make it, to run it, and you know, run it and make it low profile, you know, in order to make it possible to have a smooth running game. It's complicated. I used to own GURPS. I know that the basic of GURPS is not complicated, but it's, you know, the amount of options that you can add to add the right flavor for the setting you want, that is complicated. I used to own Alternity, which was a little complicated. that is mostly what the most complicated games I ever had. I think for a while I had Middle-earth role-playing game, you know, the light version of Rollmaster. I had it in my shelf, yeah, but I got rid of it. I never thought I would play this game. So yeah, basically that is it. Favorite role-playing game no one else wants to play. Usually I'm quite convincing if people I want to try a role-playing game, and with internet, that's the joy of internet. You can almost try any role-playing games you want. There's always someone who will give it a try. That is the joy of internet. In a face-to-face game, it's not that possible. But if I think of infamous games I never was able to run at my table, well, a game called Les Trois Mousquetaires, Flashing Blades. Yeah, I don't think it was appealing to anyone around my table, maybe. That is pretty much it. Coolest character sheet. Once again, I'm not a big one to see art on a character sheet. I look how functional it is. And I must admit that 3rd edition Dungeons & Dragons up to Pathfinder, the character sheets, I really loved the way they were organized. Okay, for me, it was easy to get the information I wanted about my character, the numbers. Yeah, I always, you know, something that I liked from this game was the character sheet. I always liked to sit down and fill up one, you know, creating a character in them, just to, yeah, because of the organization of the sheet. So that would be my answer. Game, I'd like to see a new improved version. Well, I'm always interested to see basic role-playing, what can be new about that. Basic role-playing or any derived product, you know, there's lots of D100 type of game, and since it's a game type of game I really like, I'm always interested to see, you know, what can we do with the D100 game, what cool ideas can come out of that. And yeah, it's one of my favorite game systems. So that is the game I'm always, you know, I have lots of PDFs of quick starts of different companies doing D100 games, and I always enjoy watching them and to see what's next. Scariest game I've played was a game of Call of Cthulhu in the 90s. The game master was awesome, you know, he was poker face. We were against something we never knew what it was, and we were scared as shit. We just the you know, the ambience, just what was going on was in a train, and we were trapped in it. And when we got to final destination, people there were dead people, and you know, and we never knew what we were against. We were without a clue, and that was scary as shit. Most memorable encounter. I must say that the three-headed dragon in the Dark Eye was something. It was with Sean Vergvari, Tim Rudolph, Tim Other, and Chris Bradshaw. We were the players into that. Florian, the Neruban, okay, was the game master. For me, that was very memorable. Because the role play was there. We were really role playing the fear. We haven't fought the dragon. Anyway, we couldn't add a chance against it. We had to be. We had to find a way to get out of it. We were hidden. My character tried to draw the attention of the dragon elsewhere, and it didn't work at all. Three-headed dragon was still looking at us. We were seeing our death in front of us. He was going to eat us. And then Tim, with his character, Maven, elven mage, came forward to the dragon, made a speech, you know, a speech that I have still chills in my spine when I think about it. From my point of view, this was awesome. So that was a memorable encounter. The role play, the quality of what we were able to do with that scene, and even up to the end of that session, how our character felt. We really shared the fact that we were glad to be alive. We were out of breath. We weren't just believing what we just got through. It's a small scene, but it's my top one. Rarest RPG owned. Well, Les Trois Mousquetaires, the French version of Flashing Blades, is very rare. I think it's that. Favorite RPG of all time. I think those questions, when they come back, you have to answer. It's the same thing, but it will be Star Wars, a role-playing game. Yeah, if I take the average of all my years of role-playing, all the games I have enjoyed, all the games that I'm enjoying now, which are not Star Wars role-playing game, but if I make an average of everything, this would be Star Wars role-playing game, the D6 version. Special place in my heart. I'm looking forward to play it again in the future. Yeah. Probably if I do that, I will sit down and think about how the D6 system works again. Inspired by many things I have tried. Because the D6 system, I love it. It needs some work. So probably the next time I will do Star Wars role-playing game will be an occasion to see if I can push that system a little forward, making everyone more heroic and more comfortable. So Star Wars D6 system is my favorite RPG of all time. I think it's the same as Dave Chapman, by the way. You have to see his blog and his YouTube channel he has made for RPG Day 2014. That was RPG Day 2014, brought to you in 2017. François Letarte, JDRD30, and up to next time. I hope you have as much fun in your life as in your games. See you in RPG Day 2017.